All right, should be live. All right, OBS should be working here. Yep, perfect. Let's see. Close that, open that. Ting, 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 ting. Ting, ting. All right, can you guys hear me? There we go. Can you guys hear me? Am I good? Yes, sir. Okay, awesome. Give me a second here, guys. There we go. All right, cool. So, hey guys, it's been a little bit since we last spoke, but I wanted to quickly talk about the current structures of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I want to go quite a bit into details as to the current setups and explain what happened yesterday as well to these trades. But let's talk about Bitcoin first. So looking at Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame yesterday, I mentioned to you guys that we were seeing a very nice V-shaped move set towards the upside. It was right around here when I sent that trade, when I told you guys, look, like this V-shaped formation is going to most likely play out. We already had our exponential moving average retest. And usually a lot of times what people need to understand, mostly from a trading perspective, is, for example, let's say you have the trade set up like this. So what that means is you have basically this sort of move set, right? So you have a candlestick like this, and then you notice that the top of the move set hasn't been completed yet. What I mean by that is a top of the move set is pretty much where the drop started from, right? So that's the level you want to pay attention to. More times than not, there are going to be sell orders or, of course, stop loss orders entered into that range. So what usually happens is those traders will enter that short position, ride the trade out, hoping for the structure break, and instead the market actually pushes back up, hits those stop losses, and then we continue once again. So that's why when I send these sort of trades updates to you guys over in Telegram and stuff, what we want to pay attention to is the completion of the move set. And the completion of the move set, usually if you get the exponential moving average bounce, ends up somewhere up here, which ended up playing absolutely perfectly over on Telegram. So in right now, as of right now, though, you guys will notice that we are still trading above our exponential moving averages, right? Not only that, but even on the daily time frame, we're actually bouncing on the EMAs. So I'm actually expecting a structure break here coming within the next few days. And as long as we held above 68.8, we are in bullish territory, right? For Bitcoin, at least, we are in that bullish territory as of right now. The all-time high was at 73, and we have a W formation on the daily chart. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking for shorting opportunities as of right now, which is why I also mentioned to you guys yesterday in when I was driving, was the fact that if you guys are looking for trade setups, just be aggressive, right? We had the same sort of thing happen on Ethereum as well. And that's why I tell you guys, usually Asia hours, we tend to see market volatility. A lot of you guys end up holding your trades for a little too long, and that usually ends up, you know, getting wrecked. And that's why I always tell you guys that if you are in profits for, let's say, 5, 10, 15%, what you want to do is, of course, lock those gains in. You don't need to hold that one generational trade or whatever and try to catch a bottom of move set. We are in scalping regions, right? We are trading in those scalp regions, and you want to continue scalping the market. You can scalp the market both ways, but at least this way, once you're locking in profits, you know that's exactly where you are pretty much going to end up going, right? Sorry, but looking at Ethereum as of right now, Ethereum's in a little bit of a different picture than Bitcoin. Bitcoin actually looks pretty good. Ethereum, we're pretty much in this weird consolidation zone, right? We're not really seeing any volume come into the market. Yesterday, we had Fed news as well. We saw that wick down to 34.11, and we're pretty much just seeing rejection formations happen across the board. We have a W formation on Ethereum as well. But once again, the same sort of situation is if we end up breaking 36.83, you guys know that's the invalidation zone for scenario A. We shorted this move set all the way towards the downside, then again, and of course right now, this is probably not the best idea to short once again. Reason for that is you can see 1 test, 2 tests, now 3 tests. That's 3 test confirmations, right? When you are trading in a situation like that, you don't necessarily want to get caught out on the 3rd test, because the 3rd test tends to end up being a breakout formation. And of course, if Ethereum does end up breaking out from 36.83, our main target remains to be at $4,000. Now, anyways, I'm gonna come back to you guys. I'm still in the Doge trade yesterday. Should I still leave it at 0.21 or break even? So same thing, just like I mentioned in the Doge trade yesterday as well. I said the same thing, right? I'm like, look, Doge is looking for that 0.21 region, and I sent the trade right around here at 0.195. Like, we saw a beautiful wick into zero. Like look at this, right? So what, like, you're at 0.209 versus 0.21. You see what I'm saying? Like, when you're fighting over for those minuscule profits, that's where you end up getting burned. And that's why I tell you guys, like, right now on Doge, things are still looking good, right? We are still holding above 0.193. We already had that manipulation wick down to 0.178. So Doge still looks extremely good from a bullish perspective as well. So yeah, let me see the rest of you guys. Please do a TA for, I'm not doing TA for the meme coin. How are you feeling, man? Better, I hope. Yeah, my back's actually doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. You know, I did quite a lot of stretches and pretty much everything worked out. So, you know, it has been a little rough, but it's all good. It happens, right? That's just how life is. But yeah, so in terms of markets in general, though, do you guys have any other ideas, or what's up? Like, and you guys, well, rather, do you want to talk about anything else, rather? So, IMX looking bearish thoughts. Yeah, we can talk about IMX. So, actually, in terms of altcoins, I'll go over a quick brief overview for altcoins in general. So, when it comes down to altcoins right now, I wouldn't necessarily be looking for any buying opportunities, and I'll go ahead and explain the reasons why. First off, looking at, for example, IMX. Yes, IMX right now is in a crucial zone, and the reason for that is you can see that we are on a massive support line. Not only was this level a major support, but as well as it was a major resistance point. You can see we had multiple retest opportunities at this range, and we had those rejection formations. Once we broke out of that range, we retested it as support, and that was a confirmation that we are in that continuation trade. Right now, though, we are losing that support. We are actually seeing multiple retest opportunities on the support level, failing to see any volume come into the market. And that's not just IMX in general. That also goes for Beam. That goes for a lot of these Injective. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of these coins right now are on crucial support levels. And what most likely is going to happen is we're going to see Bitcoin either break into all-time high, and that should leave the dominance, of course, for Bitcoin to rally as well. You can see dominance right now looks pretty good. And if Bitcoin dominance starts to rally, that means that altcoins are most likely going to drop once again. We probably won't see altcoin season for like maybe another month or two. Again, just a random time frame. But that's pretty much how I'm trading that level. That's why I keep telling you guys, like, look, you're probably not the best case to be looking for buying opportunities on a lot of these altcoins. And I can give you an example of ICP. In the live stream about 2 days ago, I mentioned ICP and I said, look, 1607 is going to be our main target, but it's a buying opportunity if we see 3 test confirmations. We didn't even see one test, right? We got one test and we immediately broke that support level, and then we saw a huge wick towards the downside. We are still in a bearish zone on ICP. We are still trading below the EMAs. Now we flipped resistance as well. We have somewhat of a midterm support level here, but that's not good enough for me to be looking for buying opportunities on ICP. Instead, I would probably wait once we break back above 16, and then I would go for that buying, right? Otherwise, I'm not really looking for that zone for anything in terms of leverage or anything right now, nor will I be shorting at this level because, of course, we're in extreme oversold conditions. If I was going to short, it would have been on the EMA retest, candle close, nuke, and that's would have been my shorting opportunity. But you can tell that the bears are obviously exhausted, right? You can see that there's a ton of wicks in this medium-term range that we're just not seeing anything push up towards the upside as of right now. So yeah, let's see, what else can we talk about? SHIB. SHIB's pretty boring. Nothing really new on SHIB. It's just literally a consolidation zone. I don't really want to bother about SHIB because nothing really is crazy is going on. Markets, honestly, guys, like, market's been pretty dead. That's pretty much why I've been kind of MIA too. Like, there really isn't anything crazy for me to be talking about, right? Like, you can look for the past like 2 days now, about 3 days now, we've been in the same exact range for 3 days. Like, there's only so much I can talk about in terms of markets or videos. Like, even on Doge, right? Like, I can talk about Doge video like from yesterday, and then like today, like, what am I going to say? The same thing. Like, guys, look, we had a break structure. You know what I mean? You guys you see my point? Like, I try to only send messages in the chat when there's something worth talking about, or if there's a chart or something that's interesting. As of right now, across the board, there really isn't much interesting in the market that's happening. Filecoin, for example, you can see that Filecoin right now is also in that bearish category, right? So Filecoin was a great example from an educational standpoint. A lot of you guys need to understand that when we had Filecoin see that breakout period from prior, a lot of you guys right here said, look, Pingu, Bitcoin's rallying, Ethereum's rallying, I want to buy Filecoin. And I said, look, if you're going to be buying Filecoin here, you're taking the risk factor that this, of course, is a breakout trade. You can see that that level was just a fake out, right? We didn't end up seeing the breakout by any means. We actually saw a manipulation candlestick followed by a break of exponential moving averages. And now we're starting to see new lower lows. And that's why I tell you guys, like, you want confirmation when you are trading. When you are looking from a trade setup, all you really want to do is pay attention to once the moveset happens. A lot of traders, why they fail is because of the fact they look at what could happen. It's always could versus what's actually happening, right? So what I mean by that is, for example, all these traders here, they saw it as, okay, this could happen into 1137. But reality was, you can see that the failure pattern from 1137 already happened. How many times is it going to slowly ladder case towards the upside and actually break that structure? And of course, that goes into the saying of Bitcoin and Ethereum. If Bitcoin and Ethereum at the time were bearish, right, as we can see the same dates, they were bearish, why are you looking for long positions on altcoins right now, right? So that's what I'm saying is, if that case from prior, so I'm talking about like, you know, March 15th, March 16th, if the case was prior and we were on a bearish trend towards the downside, like you knew the market was exhausted from a buying perspective, then why were you looking for long positions on altcoins into major swing zones, right? That's just pretty much why I tell you guys, like, you're better off from a larger standpoint looking for entries on support if Bitcoin and Ethereum look good. But if they don't look good, then there's absolutely no reason for you guys to be looking for those long positions as well. Let's see. Can you look at Unicoin? It's been bearish for 3 days and has to touch the daily EMA. So yeah, I know Uniswap is actually being sued by the SEC, so it's a little bit more of a I actually haven't looked at Uni, if I'm being honest with you, but I will look at Uni for you right now. So Uni in general, you can see that as of right now, yeah, that's actually a pretty bad dip. So we actually did have quite a bit of a rally though, right? So for Uniswap, we actually did see a breakout from $7 during 16 when they had their profit sharing or whatever for users. But as of right now, it looks like the BART formation is just completing. Obviously with the SEC news, that doesn't help by any means either. But yeah, looking at the 4-hour time frame, your buy target, assuming like, you know, things right now, there's a lot of bearish news with the Uniswap happening right now. So my buy target for Uni or any sort of buy target would probably be around $8.20. That would be the first area I'm looking for a long trade or even a leverage trade. And the reason for that is this is the only support we really have. Like you can see from previous price, this was the only wicks that I can see right now in terms of resistance, right? Once we broke out that level, we saw that huge move. Otherwise, there's really nothing in this zone. Like you can see, like there really isn't much in this zone stopping Uniswap from dropping. Even if you look at previous price analysis, look at where the support lines bounce. You see that what I'm saying? Like, look, if this is what I teach you guys, right? So when you're looking at it from a 4-hour time frame, look at that. Look how perfect that is. So you can see from previous price analysis how many times Uniswap bounced during 2021 on this level. So that's pretty much how I trade. Is what I look for is something like this in terms of support region test. If I know on a daily time frame that this level was tested the most, why would I enter a trade here, right? Why would I enter on $9 when I know that $8.10 has a lot more confluence to it? I'm probably going to wait for $8.10. And once that level hits, then I'll look for the trade. If that level doesn't hit, then it's not the end of the world. I'll still be okay, right? You can always re-enter your trades later. You think alt season is in May? Again, I don't do time frame updates. I have no idea when alt season is going to be. It is going to happen sooner or later. But if you want to position yourself, you have to understand that you want to pay attention to dominance first. Can you look at, so are fees more and more as you stay in a trade longer? I have been in a trade. Yes, Michael, there are fees for every exchange for the trade that you are in. So every single day they add up. So yeah, so you're better off, like I said, if you're trying to swing a position. That's why a lot of traders, like the ones that swing positions into millions of dollars, they pay thousands and thousands of dollars on fees, right? That's why you have to be correct if you're looking for swing positions, and the risk to reward has to be there as well. Can you analyze a chart for VET? Sure, I can do VET for you. VET, USDT tether. So Vchain, I think I already have it. That's probably why that just happened. There it is for Vchain. Yeah, I did have it. So, I mean, Vchain is one of those old coins. Like I used to like Vchain a lot, but nowadays, like I said, you're seeing, so Vchain actually looks pretty good. We had a beautiful support retest from 0.015. As of right now, it actually looks like it's going to complete its overall move. So this is what we call a breakout trade. This is looking for a breakout trade as of right now for Vchain. So Vchain, that would be the level. 0.617 ends up breaking. We're going to see a huge wick into the 0.08 region. Vchain actually looks quite bullish as of right now because of how large of a consolidation it had. Just like Filecoin, same exact example right now. From a conservative standpoint, I'd probably wait until 0.016. But otherwise, anything from there, we'd see a larger rally form. So yeah, if that makes sense for you guys. So let's see. Yeah, okay. I already talked about ICP escaping. ICP is in the bearish category. We're not looking for anything right now. Something crazy would be meme coins. I'm not talking about meme coins on this stream. There's just too much going on in that world. It's just not worth my time. Let's see. I'm basically locked in Doge at 19.9, SHIB at 27, Jasmine is 0.9, then several altcoins aside, looking often. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's why I tell you guys, like, when I say, like, for example, if I say, oh, altcoins look bearish, that doesn't mean you go start selling all of your altcoins, right? What that basically means is, from that standpoint, is all you're really doing is looking for buying entries on these altcoins. When I give you guys these levels, they're levels for a reason, right? So, like, let's say, for example, on Ethereum, right? So I mentioned at $4,000 that this is probably going to be a major resistance on the weekly, and we're probably going to see it end up seeing a drop. Right here is when I told a lot of you guys to take your profits on altcoins from those of you that have been holding since October. That was the reason I was mentioning to you guys. A lot of you ended up doing that, and the reason why is because if the market did end up seeing a correction at 40.28, which it did, of course, we were looking for a massive cascade event, which did end up happening, right? So that's why I tell you guys, from a spot position, when you're on a weekly level, then yes, go ahead and close your positions. But when you're in a consolidation level, so now you're in a consolidation level, we don't know whether the market's going to push up or not, right? We don't know. We have to wait for 36.83. If 36.83 ends up playing out, then yes, we can look for that long position for that continuation. But right now, we are not seeing anything. We're just seeing a period of consolidation. So there's no reason for us to be, you know, closing or panicking your spot positions or trying to guess, should I sell here and buy here, etc. When I talk about these videos and these posts that I make, they're more for the 4-hour traders, those leverage traders, right? If you're someone that believes in Doge, for example, and you think that Doge is going to go for $1 or $2, again, whatever price target you have in your head, doesn't really matter, then there's no reason why you're fighting over 0.21 or 0.19. There's really no reason why you should be closing and, you know, closing your positions, etc. Now, given, of course, the fact that when Doge did, and we played Doge from down here, when we had a rally into 0.2, then yeah, go ahead, you know, lock in those profits so you have a significant amount of gain. But right now, probably not the best idea, right? Probably not the best idea to be locking your gains when you're in a consolidation standpoint. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, let's see. I entered a trade on Doge and fell asleep. Yeah, that's honestly the worst thing to do, guys. Like, that's really, like, I mean, it happens to me too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, when you're in a trade setup, mostly from like Doge, for example, or anything like that, or just in general, when you're trading, like, falling asleep is probably the worst thing you can do. And the reason why is because a lot of people, what they say is, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go to bed and see what happens when I wake up. You're going to wake up to liquidation. And the reason why is because when you're sleeping, the market most likely would have gone to your target, right? It would have gone to your target where you wanted to sell or where you think you were close to selling. And then it hits that zone. And then by the time you wake up, you're trading over here. Now you're in the worry of support break, everything else on top of that, right? So it's not worth losing sleep over. My general rule of thumb is when I wake up, I quickly look at the chart. If I see a trade, I'll open the trade because I know for the next 12 hours, I'm going to be awake. There's no reason for me to not, you know, to be worrying or anything. I can always close and whatever because I'm going to be doing stuff, right? But if I'm sleeping, then I'm sleeping. I don't have a choice. I have to hold that position. And that's why I tell you guys, like, unless you're swing trading, please don't do that. Just leave your positions open and just let it run. The mingling of TA and psychology is interesting. Yeah, exactly. And that's the biggest thing, right? Like, I can sit here and try to teach you guys everything from a technical standpoint, but if your psychological standpoint is weak and you're making beginner mistakes, you're not going to be profitable no matter how great your charts look. And I keep telling you guys that is just because my lines look good, it really comes down to a psychological standpoint for me as well, right? So like when I'm looking at the charts right now, I know for a fact that, okay, worst case scenario, you know, I have my flushes in mind. But for someone that's new, they enter a trade and then it starts reversing and they're like, oh my God, I gotta close, I gotta panic, right? And that's what I'm saying, is that's where the psychological levels really come from. So you have to be very, very cautious about that. Can you check TLM? If that's a new coin, I will probably not analyze it, but for you, I'm assuming this is a new coin because I haven't heard about it. Let's see. No, not really. Yeah, I mean 2022. Okay, like, sure. Like, I mean, I'm not sure what you're really asking here for like a analysis. It's not doing it. Like, it hasn't done anything in like months. Like, I guess here 0.04 breaks, and then it would start getting interesting. But otherwise, right now, like nothing really special is going on. It just had a little bit of a move set towards the upside, like a 200% gain. But yeah, something like that would be ideal. But it has to break 0.04 structure break, and then you can see that continuation. Is it a good time to buy Chain, or should I wait? Thank you for your wonderful education. So Vchain, if you're looking to buy Vchain, again, from a long-term perspective, if you believe that the coin is, you know, you're bullish on the coin, you've done your research, foundations, etc., then yeah, it's not a bad point to buy 0.04. You can always dollar cost average if the market does end up dropping down here. But if you're conservative and you don't want to risk that, then 0.06 would probably be a better region. A break, because then you're guaranteed once that level of structure breaks to at least 0.09, right? So that's a decent gain right there. But if you want to play the double risk right now, you want to try to get that 2x in size, then yeah, like something like this would be ideal. Vchain does look good as of right now, so it's up to you. Can we check? Yes, of course I can check Cardano for you, no problem. I haven't done a Cardano video in ages, but the reason, I mean, to be fair, like nothing really happened in months, like literally months. You can see like Cardano's been dead. But Cardano as of right now, like, yeah, we're on a 0.58 support level. We're seeing, you know, quite a bit of fake outs from a bearish standpoint. So you can see we had quite a few wick opportunities towards downside. Pressure wasn't there. We were extreme oversold conditions every single time. And now, of course, we're trending on this resistance level. So what I want to see is a break structure like this, followed by a retest as support, something like that. That would be ideal. But yeah, bulls need to overcome this zone right now, 0.58. Any structure break of 0.56, and we are actually going to be shorting. But looking at the overall time frame, like this doesn't look good to me either, right? This looks like more of like a BART formation looking to play out. So you have a head and shoulder. Not only that, you have a head and shoulder on the 4-hour time frame. So you have your left shoulder here, you have your head, and you have your right shoulder. And now it looks like you have a smaller pullback, so something like this. So yeah, probably not the best case scenario for Cardano as of right now. There's multiple bearish time frames happening on the 4-hour. And of course, right now you can see that we're failing to even break resistance. So yeah, not really interested in Cardano, but I hope that I helped you. I was thinking of adding my fair desk position. Could you get us a redeposit bonus? I don't know how the bonuses work, Michael, if I'm being honest with you. I think you just deposit, and then as you deposit, it continues paying you out. So that's totally up to you. Like I said, I just know, like, in terms of fees, fair desk is really good. That's why I recommend it for you, all of you guys, if you're leverage trading. But in terms of the bonuses and stuff, I don't really look into that stuff. I just know that they give you a bunch of money. I don't know exactly how much. Yes, Vegard, I already talked about Doge. I'm actually going to make a Doge video in a few minutes before I leave. So I will make a Doge update for you guys, even though I said I wouldn't. Like, that's what I'm saying, right? I know there's people out there that wait for that video because, again, they're in positions, etc. But Doge right now, like, while you're in stream, Doge hasn't done anything since yesterday. It's the same exact price. We've seen a few wick towards the upside and downside, but we're really not seeing anything major. So, make sense? I hope that makes sense. Sorry, I'm so strapped for time. Escaping. I already talked about ICP. It's bearish. We're not talking about ICP again. I did the whole thing on ICP already, but ICP is in the bearish category right now. I would not be looking for longs until 1607 breaks back above. Then you can. Otherwise, no. Just joined, so I haven't heard you talked about it. No, all good, Big Hard. All good. Yeah, so here, what I'll do is I'll link the Telegram again. I don't know if there's anyone new in here. It is a free Telegram. Everything I post is in here is free. So if you want to join the Telegram, we can go from there. But why are you against trading on weekends and holidays? Adele, that's a great question. So I can explain that to you guys. When I was a beginner, so when I was new to the markets, I would always trade Bitcoin and crypto on my little accounts on the weekend. And what I noticed was 90% of the time, I'd say 95% of the time, I ended up losing money on the weekends. And the reason why was because of manipulation wicks. So what I mean by that is, on Bitcoin, for example, over the weekend, you see these manipulation candlesticks, right? So right here, you can tell this is a weekend because there's no volume here. But basically, you see these right here, these three little candles. This is called just straight manipulation. Market goes up, weekend hits, sideways, 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 boom. That Sunday, we see a huge move, and then the continuation. You see what I'm saying? So, like, for example, I looked at this from this perspective. I know this is a V-shaped formation. I would be looking for a long position, right? But over the weekend, I entered my long position, whatever. I'm super excited to long. And then what happens is market ends up seeing a drop back to 68.8. My stop loss is hit, and then Monday morning, the moves that happens. That's why holidays and weekends you want to stay away from. You're better off just trading on Monday to Fridays. Of course, even Sunday nights you can if you want to, but Saturdays is a no zone. Saturdays for everyone is a no zone. I keep telling you guys that. Don't trade Saturdays. Very rarely will we see a move set on Saturdays, but most times we don't. We don't see a move set on Saturdays. Yeah, again, if it works for you, that's great. I give you guys a recommendation of what works from a long time, that what I've done, right? Otherwise, there's no reason for you guys. You can do whatever works for you, but for me, that's what works for me. That's why I do it like that. I hope that makes sense. But yeah. Any other questions? I don't really have too much planned here. Like I said, this is just supposed to be a quick little live stream for you guys. I will go ahead and make Doge video for us, but I think that's, I mean, like realistically, like again, the market hasn't moved for me to be like, I know I can tell even from like the people that are in here, like nothing's changed for a lot of you guys to be sitting and just watching and talking about the markets, because again, like the markets are sideways, just straight up. So, you know, these live sessions, like, and when the market's really moving, then yes, like it's great for live sessions. Everyone's super interested. Everyone needs levels and stuff. But when we're at the exact same price that we've been since on April 9th, you know, like it's been almost 3 days now at the same price. Like there's nothing really major happening for me to be interested. Yesterday, I sent a trade for you guys. I said, hey guys, looking for a long position. It played out. I didn't text you guys for 7 hours, and then I came back and I said, okay, boom, take your profits, right? That's what I do. I won't talk sometimes, and again, it's not that I'm ignoring anyone or I'm not trying to talk to you guys. It's just I don't see anything from the markets, right? People hate when, you know, I was texting those chats and be like, yo, man, like what's going on? Like, why aren't you texting? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And it's just because I don't have anything to share. Like, there's nothing to share, right? So it's just like, it is what it is. So, yeah, no problem. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna head out with my wife now. I'm gonna go out for a little bit. I've been strapped in this room for a little too long. So thanks for coming, guys. It was recorded. If you need to go back to anything, you can always check back. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. We can go ahead from I'll send Doge video later tonight. Probably not immediately right now, but hopefully something happens tonight. Yeah, Marlon. A lot of people message me, exactly. But yeah. All right, guys. Have yourselves a great day. Thanks for coming. We will talk later tonight. Bye-bye.